All right, what is going on, guys? SteelTwins back at you with another video with 5 Steelers bold predictions for the 2020 NFL season. It is just right around the corner, hopefully, because we still don't know if there will be a season. Training camps have yet to be announced. I do believe that the rookies, by the time we're recording this, I believe the rookies are supposed to report next week around that time, I believe.
Right, but again, we don't have dates in line for training camps, at least for most teams. So I don't know what's going on.
Well, we
have no idea what's going on.
We are being optimistic that the NFL season will continue, hopefully, even with COVID going around.
Thus, we are here with 5 Steelers bold predictions for the upcoming 2020 season. So we're just going to get right into it. Now, this first one may seem just a little bold, a little too bold, honestly, but I think it's very realistic because I don't think this man has even hit his prime yet.
And that's scary to think.
I don't know how that's possible. Like, this man is already this destructive and dominant on the field. And he hasn't even hit his prime yet, in our opinion. This record has not been broken in 20 years. I think you guys know where we're going with this.
And it almost was broken about 5-6 years ago.
Yes. But nonetheless, the record still stands as of almost 20 years ago in 2001. This season, it's very possible. You know, it's going to be interesting. It's, you know, like we said, maybe a little too bold, but it's very possible. T.J. Watt breaks Michael Strahan's single-season sack record, which currently stands at 22.5 from the 2001 season. T.J. Watt could eclipse that. He could get at least 23, just barely beating the record. I think the closest man to beat it recently was Justin Houston back in 2014. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Where he had 22. He was literally half a sack away from at least tying the record.
So
it can be broken. Houston almost broke it. He was just very, very short of it.
And a guy like T.J. Watt, who is already this dominant and this scary on the field, has yet to hit his prime. And the reason why we say that is because he's coming into, I believe, let me get my quick math going. I believe his 5th year as a linebacker.
Right.
Because he only had 1 year as a linebacker in his college career.
Yeah, in Wisconsin.
Which pretty much, him and his name pretty much pushed him into the first round. And he's had all this time, all these years to keep growing at the linebacker position. And you can clearly see year by year, game by game, he's getting better.
He is.
And I think this is going to keep happening. He's still young. He's still learning the position. He has yet to hit his fucking prime. He just came off a 14.5 sack season to go with 2 picks as well, as long as, I believe, 8 forced fumbles or something like that. Defensive Player of the Year.
Should have been
runner-up.
Should have been NFL Defensive Player of the Year, not Stephon Gilmore.
No.
I don't care what anyone says. T.J. Watt should have won NFL Defensive Player of the Year.
Even Chandler Jones should have had a better running at Defensive Player of the Year than Gilmore, honestly, if I'm being real with you. But yeah, all that constitutes to an 86 overall in Madden NFL 21. So I don't get that. I really don't get that. I'm not getting the game. We're not getting the game. So, I mean, it don't really mean much to me. But I just find it absolutely criminal how their rating system gives T.J. Watt an 86 overall after last season.
Yeah,
he was first team All-Pro as an edge rusher, a second team All-Pro as a linebacker. Pro Bowler, runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, Jesus Christ. What more can you ask for in T.J. Watt?
Exactly. He's so dominant. He's so good. We know the real T.J. Watt. He's probably the best edge rusher, pass rusher in the NFL today.
And if he's not, he's going to be very soon. And that could be after this upcoming season. He breaks Michael Strahan's single-season sack record. That is our first bold prediction for the 2020 Steelers season. Let us know you guys thought about that in the comments below. Again, I know it might be a little too bold, but it's possible. People have come close, and it's possible with T.J. Watt.
It is.
So, it's very possible.
Hasn't reached his prime. It's very possible.
Very possible, especially this coming year.
Absolutely. Now, the second poll prediction we got. Now, last year, this wasn't far-fetched from what we're going to be talking about now, because 3 people almost had it. 2 people did, but 3 almost eclipsed at least double-digit sacks.
Yes.
Cameron Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, who's coming back, T.J. Watt, and Bud Dupree all get double-digit sacks.
So that is 4 edge rushers in which the Steelers will have double-digit sacks.
Yeah.
4 edge rushers that will eclipse double-digit sacks.
And last
on
year,
the same team.
Absolutely. And last year, we were close to 3 because TJ obviously had 14.5, Bud had 11.5, and Hayward had 9. He was 1 sack away from double-digit sacks.
And now, with us getting Stephon Tuitt back, now his issue is his health. He can't stay on the field. We all saw how he would have been a Pro Bowl defensive end if he would have stayed healthy. He was on a damn roll. He was on a hot streak early in the season before he got injured.
Yep.
He led the team in sacks by the time he got hurt. Now he's coming back. Hopefully he stays healthy, and if he is, then there's no doubt in my mind he's eclipsing double-digit sacks for the first time in his career.
Stephon Tuitt, when he's on the field, he is so dominant. He's so physical. He's so good.
He's dangerous. And you pair him with Cameron Hayward alongside Watt and Dupree, that's a scary-ass fucking pass rush right there.
Mm-hmm.
And all 4 of those guys could eclipse double-digit sack seasons. Like you said, they've come close last year. 3 almost had it. You get Tuitt back.
And if he can stay healthy, I truly can see all 4 getting double-digit sacks.
Yes.
If that were to happen, my God, good luck offensive lines.
Yes. And a side note, the crazy thing the crazy thing about that stat. So our first bowl prediction was T.J. Watt breaks Michael Strahan's single-season sack record, which stands at 22.5. Let's say, for example, T.J. gets 23.
Right.
That's 23 alone by T.J. Let's say Bud gets an additional 10. And then Tua gets an additional 10. Hayward gets an additional 10. That's already 53 sacks.
Yeah. Amongst others that could possibly get sacks on the team.
Which includes Mike Hilton on corner blitzes. You got Vince Williams, who we know is a prime blitzer on that team as well. Same with Devin Bush.
Yep.
And rotations we can do at linebacker and the defensive line and other safety and corner blitzes we got.
Right.
So not only is that possible, but Steelers could end up breaking their single-season sack record for a whole season in terms of a team.
Yeah.
Which they've come close to and they have done recently. So, and they've led the NFL in sacks the last, 3 years?
Yeah.
3 or 4 years?
We know how our pass rush is. It's so dominant. It's the best in the league.
And now you get all these guys back. And you know they're fucking hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, last year was just, in my opinion, and this is scary, in my opinion, last year was just a taste. Okay, it was a little bit of a taste. They didn't give you the full fucking soup. They didn't give you the full meal. They just gave you a taste. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now you get them all healthy back, reunited.
Hungry and determined.
That's scary. That is absolutely terrifying, man.
It is.
Very possible. Let's know you guys thought about that one down below. Now this one, again, could be very bold because the guys in front of him, Juju, Johnson, Claypool, Ebron. But I think a lot of people are sleeping on James Washington.
And I truly have to agree with you.
One thing that people seem to be forgetting about is he led the team in receiving yards last year and was a great deep threat with Devlin Hodges and Mason Rudolph at quarterback. Now, I know Ben and Washington never really connected well. Of course, we all know Ben threw him under the bus. But you can see that lit a fire under Washington last year.
Yeah, you saw the growth he had. When he didn't have Ben, you saw what he was able to do when the rest of our offense wasn't doing anything.
And you add him back with Ben, who we know loves deep threats, and a guy like Washington who proved was a pretty determined and trustworthy deep threat last year with who he had at quarterback, and you bring Ben back, in our opinion, and this is another bold prediction, of course, James Washington leads the team in receiving touchdowns, ahead of Juju, Johnson, Claypool, Ebron, McDonald,
everybody.
Crazy. Now, he only has 4 in his entire career, 1 from his rookie year, 3 last year. So, if he were to double that, his entire career total touchdowns that he has receiving-wise, and he were to double that this upcoming year, that'd be big for him.
That would be.
A lot of people, like you said, are sleeping on Washington because we drafted Claypool. He might not see as much field time. I don't want to say that because, of course, he's going to see field time, but many people are thinking because we drafted Claypool so high, he's going to get more time over Washington. But the thing people don't realize is that Washington is that secret weapon in the back of Ben's pocket.
Yep.
And if you don't think he's not going to be used often, or if he's not going to be used on the deep ball, which, again, we know Ben loves, you're mistaken. Mm-hmm. And I think that Ben-Washington connection could be better than it's ever been this upcoming year. And that's scary to think about.
It really is. James Washington stood out last year from a lot of guys on the offense. Again, the offense was dreadful. He stood out. He led the team in receiving yards. Who would have thought? We all thought, oh, it's going to be Juju. Wasn't. It was Washington.
Yeah.
Granted, Juju was injured. But because Juju was injured, Washington stood up. And I love seeing the growth of young receivers stepping up when we need them the most.
Yeah.
And Washington did that. And I'm excited to see more growth from James Washington.
And again, with Ben back, that's just crazy to think about with how much, Washington's growing and working and training. He could be a fantasy sleeper this year.
He could be.
Honestly.
And again, his deep threat ability is scary.
Really scary. So I'm excited for Washington this year, especially with Ben. Speaking of Ben, the next bold prediction we have is, now the reason why we say this is a bold prediction because there's a lot of people already dropping out on Ben. There's people already saying he's too old, he's washed up, he's fat when he's clearly not.
Yeah, and this is also something that he's never done before in his entire career,
yes.
Surprisingly. Ben Roethlisberger throws for over 40 touchdowns for the first time in his career.
His career high in touchdowns for a single season, I believe, was 34, which was in 2018.
Yeah, 2 years ago when he last played his fully healthy season.
Yeah. Now, to have over 40 touchdowns after that big of an injury and to come back to, I would say in terms of name value, an inferior receiving core because you can't get no better than Antonio Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster in 2018.
Right.
When it comes to Ben Roethlisberger as weapons. But he's never had this much depth in a long time. No. Like we said, we got Juju Smith-Schuster who's coming into a contract year. If you don't think he's not going to blast off, you're mistaken. Johnson, massive sleeper. I think he's going to be our number one very shortly. James Washington, the secret weapon in the back of Ben's pocket. Chase Claypool, the height, the speed, the athleticism that Ben has been craving pretty much his entire career. That's why he loved Bryant so much. Why do you think he tested him so much?
Exactly.
Because he had physical attributes similar to Claypool. And now you get Claypool in with this offense, Ben's going to test that. Mm-hmm. And then you got Eric Ebron. We've seen what he can do with a quarterback that is friendly to tight ends. He had a Pro Bowl season, career highs in touchdowns, which was, I believe, 13. Vance McDonald, we've seen what he can do when Ben is at quarterback. He's never had this much reps. And don't forget Deion Kane as well. And the receiving threats we have in Jalen Samuels and James Washington, possibly Anthony McFarland in there. Benny Snell is underrated in the receiving game. He's never had this much depth in a long time. So I can see him hitting 40 touchdowns for the first time in his career.
Absolutely. I can definitely see it. And with him coming off a season-ending elbow injury on his throwing arm.
Yes.
It's probably not all that possible. It's really hard to see. But the critics have always been eating up Ben and saying, "Oh, we need to draft a quarterback." Ben's not the answer. Ben is going to shut the critics up, and he always has in his career.
Yeah, he has. It feeds him, man. He feeds on that type of shit. So
I can definitely see it. And if that happens, God damn it.
Absolutely.
Ben's going to shut everybody up. I truly believe
Absolutely.
that.
And plus, don't forget, Ben has been saying that he has been throwing without pain for the first time in a long time. He's healthy. He's cleared. He's ready to go. He's ready to blast off. I'm excited for Ben this year. And with the depth he has,
it's scary to think.
And yes, the offense lacked last year, but when Ben is in there, he controls the offense. Not Fickner. Ben does.
When Ben's out there, he knows what he's doing. And I'm excited to see how this offense does with Ben in there again.
Yeah. And again, with the depth we have. Yeah. It's insane. It's going to be exciting to think about, especially with how great this defense already is, what they're gaining back, what they're gaining from the draft. It's insane. I'm excited for this fucking team, man. I really am.
Absolutely.
Just think about it, man. It's crazy. I think a lot of people are sleeping on us. I know Steelers fans say that every year. I know. It sounds repetitive. But honestly, man, I'm excited for this team. Mostly due because of how great this defense is, and we're getting a healthy Ben back.
Yeah.
Who a lot of people are already dropping out on. They're already writing him off.
He's washed up. So, he's not the same.
He's fat. He needs to retire. He doesn't look good. Last time he was fully healthy on that field, he threw career highs in receiving passing yards and passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
People are sleeping on Ben.
And that's fine. That's fine. We're better off being slept on.
That's how we work. That's how we always win, man. It's
So
the
go
underdog.
on, keep sleeping on us. I dare you. Because that's going to light a fire under our ass.
Exactly.
And we're going to show the entire NFL what we're made of.
Absolutely.
I truly believe that.
Absolutely. I can't fucking wait, man.
Now, the last bold prediction, the fifth bold prediction.
And I'm going to say this is the boldest. I know some of these were pretty bold. TJ Watt and Ben and Washington. I know all those are pretty bold. But this is honestly going to be the boldest. I don't know how to address this.
Neither do I, but I think we're just going to flat out and say it.
I'll give you the honors.
Terrell Edmunds makes the Pro Bowl. Yes. And you know how critical we are of Terrell Edmunds.
Yeah, to the point he has us blocked on Twitter. So, yeah. I don't know how to address this.
I mean, to be honest with you guys, I don't see it happening. That's just me, though. But and it's kind of funny, I know, but there's a little bit of glimpse of hope inside of me that hopes that Edmunds breaks out. I can see it, but at the same time, I don't.
I'll give it some positives, okay? You know, he clearly has errors, specifically in coverage and range and ball skills.
The passing game in general.
Right. He is great in the run support.
Yeah.
He is a pretty good tackler. He's one of our better tackling safeties in a while, honestly.
Yeah, last year, from his rookie year, he really stepped up big time in tackling. Yes, he missed some. I think he had the most missed tackles on the team, but he definitely stepped up when it came to tackling. This year, he needs to step up when it comes to turnovers. I believe in his 2 years, only one turnover, and that was the interception against the Bucs in his rookie year.
Yeah, and he has played the most snaps for the Steelers defense both seasons. And he has only caused one turnover. No forced fumble, no fumble. Well, he might got a fumble call. I don't fucking know. But he's only had one turnover that we know of.
And that's not good. For 2 years, that is downright awful.
Yeah. But we're going to give him some positive. He did lead the team in tackles. Did he lead the team in tackles?
No, that was Bush. He was second in team in tackles.
Right. Yeah, nonetheless. But now, that argument can go either way. You can say, okay, he's growing. You can see he's growing. But at the same time, Sean Davis did the same thing in his second year. I think he actually led the team in tackles that year. Correct me if I'm wrong. Not 100% sure, but I know. And he had almost 100 tackles that year. In his second year, he showed promise in the tackling ability. He actually had 3 picks that year. You know, he looked pretty promising. And then look at him now. He's with Washington. So, when people say that he was second on the team in tackles and he's growing, I get that. But I also look at Sean Davis did the same thing and look at him now. So, that stat doesn't necessarily entirely impress me.
No.
But the only thing that I am holding on to with Edmunds is that he does have the athletic ability we need. He has all the traits that we could use athletically and tackling there. Coverage-wise, of course, needs fixed. But with a full year or a full offseason to work with Minka, that could help him. Because safeties, they complement each other very well. Minka, we all know Minka. He's the GOAT.
Yeah.
He is the GOAT. He's our next Troy. He is phenomenal. So that could rub off on Edmunds in a good way.
I hope it does, because right now Edmunds, he's literally just a guy standing with a great defense. He's literally the one guy that doesn't. He's the one guy that doesn't do anything.
He's clearly the weak link.
Everybody stands out, but Edmunds is just there standing there like, hey, I'm here.
Pretty much.
Right now, Edmunds isn't doing anything, but just like you said, with him training and being around Minka,
that could make him better, and that could hopefully see some turnovers from him.
Yeah.
So,
something that he needs to work on desperately.
I know him making the Pro Bowl is way too bold because, one, the Pro Bowl is just a popularity contest.
Yeah.
So if he actually does have a good season, he probably still won't make it because no one, like, who the fuck is Terrell Edmunds in many people's eyes? So that alone is unrealistic, but also the part where he actually does good and forces turnovers is also unrealistic. But nonetheless,
there is room for growth. And Edmunds,
he's only coming into his third year.
Yeah.
And if Bud Dupree has taught us anything, it's to be patient.
Yeah.
So Bud Dupree and how he's grown as a player has given us faith for Edmunds. So we're not going to give up on him immediately. I know we've been very critical in the past, and we still are now here as we talk.
Was a first-round. He should have never been a first-round pick, but the fact he needs to show why we select him in the first.
Yes.
Right now he hasn't, but there is room for growth, and just like you said, we need to show patience.
Yeah.
With these kind of players.
And that's what Bud Dupree has taught us. So I don't know. We'll give it time. We'll see what Edmunds can do. This year could be that breakout year for him. Hopefully it is. So if we get Minkah doing exactly what we did last year and we get Edmunds growing, that just makes defense scarier. Anyway, guys, that's 5 bold predictions for the Steelers 2020 season, man. Let us know your guys' thoughts about them down below and give us your guys' bold predictions if you guys have any down below, man. We'd love to hear some of your guys' other predictions, of course. And see you guys in the next one, man.
Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you later.
Peace!